Welcome everybody to a new live stream of Flower Circus. Today we've got a very special person from Scotland. I don't think she needs any introduction because if you have your own tulip already and you're still alive, then you shouldn't have any introduction. So please welcome Miss Alison Bradley. Alison, welcome.
Hi, John.
How are you?
I'm fabulous, darling. I'm always fabulous.
Yeah. And,
okay, which side should I go to?
No, the other way.
This way?
Yeah.
We have a very technical system going on here.
Yeah. It's the other way around. So if you lift up your left hand, it looks like right, and the other way around.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Okay, first of all, we need to start with something because you said, okay, I want to do an interview. Only there was one condition.
Yeah.
We need to hug.
Are you ready?
I am ready. Are you ready?
Always.
Look,
It's a big problem for me, right? You ready? One.
No, look. You already get the.
Oh, how perfect. Oh, thank you. Well, I have another way of doing this, okay?
Yeah.
First, you put one arm here, and then you put one arm there, and you go, ooh, ooh.
Oh, like that, yeah. Okay, I think we already lost the first viewers.
They weren't worth keeping.
No. We actually already get a hello from Caroline.
Hi, Carrie.
We get Catherine as well from Central Scotland.
Hello, Catherine. Hi, darling.
Amanda saying hello, mommy.
Hello, baby girl.
And we've got Tamara, who's already laughing.
Hi, Tamara. This is going to be very serious.
Yeah. So it's actually a special day. I heard in Scotland it's a national holiday because
Is
it's
it?
Yeah, because the bright yellow thing is out.
Ah, the bright yellow thing.
Yeah, it's shining. It's good weather at the moment.
There's the sun. There's the golden orb in the sky, which is the lesser spotted golden orb in the sky. Yeah, we have sunshine. It's a miracle.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
I need to move you. Hold on.
Yeah.
Is that better? John, talk to me.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, good.
Valerie is saying we're all here. Bill Sheffer is saying, Bill Sheffer, hello Alison, good morning from Philadelphia.
Hi, Philly. Oh, Bill. Hi, darling.
Jackie saying hello from Alabama. So we got a lot of people. Lily in.
Oh, Jackie! Oh my God!
Oh, so I'll go back.
Oh,
Amanda.
Fleur girls. Hiya.
Yeah.
This is going to be permanent. We're getting nowhere if I just say hi all the time.
Yeah. Okay. Then for now we stop with Annie from Malta.
Oh, hi, Malta. I've just had an invitation to Malta, actually.
Okay.
Hello.
So, welcome. First, yeah, we talked about the tulip. I wanted to start with the beautiful tulip that's named after you.
Yeah, that was they're
Yeah.
how beautiful. Oh God, you've got to admit they did a good job.
Yeah. Did it surprise you, or what happened? How did this happen?
I needed oxygen resuscitation. I mean, the Dutchies really, they nailed it this time. It was the launch or the start of Floral Fundamentals at IPM Essen.
Yeah.
And my friend Gregor Lersch was going on stage, and I had banned him from mentioning my name. I think I need to move the. Do you know?
Yeah, you have to go to the right.
To the right. Are you sure?
Yeah, let's try it.
Okay, so I'm probably off the page now. This is good. Okay, and
no, you have to move yourself a little bit to the right.
Me? Oh, I thought it was the camera. Start again.
Oh, the camera. We can try.
There you go. Try that. Do you love that?
Oh, I will just do like this. Then you're in the center.
Sorry, folks. Technical problems.
Yeah.
Okay, so there you are. Hello, darling. Okay. What happened was Gregor was to go on and introduce fundamentals, but I said to him, whatever you do, please, please do not mention my name. So he stood up, and I'm in the press row. You know, there's like the front row, darling. We're in the front row. And it was clear when he started to do the introduction, he was talking about me. And I was getting, according to Sue Phillips, our sub-editor, I just went bright red and started to shake. No, you're not supposed to do this. And then he said, well, actually, Alison needs to come on stage. I was, no! So anyway, I went on stage. Now, anyone who knows Gregor knows he's got a bad leg. So I kicked him in the bad leg deliberately.
Oh, I thought he didn't have the bad leg before.
Actually, that was before surgery. Actually, that's true. I thought of that. Oh my God. And anyway, the next thing I'm aware, there's a guy standing beside me, and I turn around, and it's Menno from Boris Bloom, and I'm like, oh, I know you. Oh, and then I turn around, and then Pete's there holding this bowl of tulips. And by this time, I'm shaking like a leaf, and it's clear that this is a wonderful tribute. Still get emotional. And then my other friend, Annalene Decker, shows up with a bottle of shampoo, which, by the way, translates to champagne, by the way.
Yeah.
So, and she's got it open, and she hands it to me, and I know that to christen a flower, you're supposed to pour the champagne over the flower. But, you know, I'm Scottish, and it is shampoo after all. So I take a mouthful. You didn't know all this story, did you?
No. I've got I think where this is going. I think I know it, but
and she had been running, and so the bottle must have been shaking up and down. So when I took this mouthful, it was bubbles. So I had all these bubbles wedged in my throat, and I couldn't breathe. And then I'm thinking, I'm going to have to spit this out because I'm going to choke to death. So then I turned around, and the whole of the press corps, the floristry press corps, sitting there with the cameras like this. And I'm like, you cannot vomit out champagne on stage at PMS. And unacceptable. So it was a brilliant setup. Partly at one stage I went chalk white and almost fainted. Sue said it's the first time in all the years she's known me that she's ever seen me stuck for words. But it was such a wonderful gesture, and yeah, it was so super kind of them.
yeah.
So, oh, it's the best translation ever. Oh, someone's translating for me. This is so good. So, yeah, that's my tulip. And it's gone on to win several times, you know, Best Tulip Award in the Netherlands. Yeah. It's a privilege. It's so beautiful. And my friend Neil Strain down in London, you'll know Neil. Neil's adorable.
Yeah.
Highly successful florist. Every so often says, we're selling your body again out. That comes this message. But it sells really well. It's a beauty. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really beautiful tulip. I think I even got I don't know if it's in the tulip field where you're standing with both your hobbies there, the wine and the flowers.
No, that was darling Frank's tulip field, Frank Timmerman, you know.
Yeah, the tulip specialist.
We've done it was the Duchies once again. They're very good. You're very good at surprises. And David Bean, my friend from America, was over, and they'd organized this event, and so I went over, and Marius Decker and Pete Van Kampen hid me so that David didn't know I was there. So they were doing a huge floral elephant. Inga had made it, you know, for the cavalcade, the show. And I was hiding behind the elephant. They need to be big, you know, because I've got to hide behind something big enough to conceal my body.
But you're hiding now as well. I mean, I can only see half of you.
Wait, shall I have to move to? Oh, darling, this is so difficult. Right.
Let's just
moving.
try.
Well, you're saying what?
Yeah, we're going the right way. Yeah.
Are we? Well, that is left, you muppet.
Yeah, but for me, it's right. I'm doing this for a month and a half now, but I still don't understand how it works and what's left and what's right.
Well,
what's
we
left?
drive on the other side of the road, you know.
Yeah. So that's got me even confused even more.
Oh, there's Audrey. Hi, Audrey. Oh, Jackie. Oh, right. Jackie's told me to move. Oh, hiya, Tanya.
And Tanya there as well. We've got Jackie from Canada as well in.
Oh, and there's my darling Ivan. Ivan Berg from Italy. Oh, God. Ivan, stay strong, baby. Stay strong. Hi, Jackie.
Martin, hello from Holland.
Oh, Martin.
Caroline is saying the same as what I was saying. Put your head in front of the bags on the door.
You don't want me to hang myself in the bag? Okay.
No. Of course not.
I'm not sure quite how to do that, Caroline. How about that?
Nope.
No.
You have to move to the other way. Yeah, let's. Yeah, that's great. Okay, don't move.
Not moving. I'm staying more.
Just no. Don't move.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're so forceful.
Even Caroline is saying slide to the right, but don't move anymore, please.
I feel like a windscreen wiper.
Chris says hi. Bill Schaefer says.
Okay, hi.
Cindy from Florida says hi.
Oh, Chris, yeah. Hi, Cindy.
Yeah. So, okay, let's start now. Glad you're here.
What the heck?
Yeah.
Let's go for it.
Where shall we start? I think we start with Fusion Flowers, the magazine.
Yeah. What do you want to know?
Yeah. What's it all about? What is it all about?
What's it all about?
And what does it make it different than the other magazines out there?
Well, we started over 20 years ago, and we had recognized a gap in the market, certainly in the UK, that there was no contemporary floral design magazine. And initially, the magazine was launched for the UK, but it became very evident very quickly that this was going to be an international publication. So at the moment, we got to over 70 countries.
Wow.
Although equally at the moment, just last week, Dennis got 2 sheets of A4 paper with list of countries that are not accepting any mail, which even the people in the countries don't know that the post is not getting through to them. They think we haven't posted it, but actually it's nothing to do with that. So Australia's one.
Yeah.
America, which we have a lot of subscribers in, is another. So it's life is very complicated, but there's always step-by-step tutorials, reports usually on exhibitions and events from around the world, competitions to try and encourage new growth, to discover new talent.
Yeah.
We do that mostly on social media now. And reports on things that are unusual. Plus there's Brain Floss at the end, which is me telling stories, which was to try and convince that everyone, we all have bad days, we all have normal days, and just because I seem to travel the world doesn't mean it's glamorous. It's not a glamorous thing at all. But equally, oh, hi, Solomon, my little darling.
Yeah, Solomon was here yesterday.
I wanted to undo your top button yesterday, Solomon, but you know what I'm like.
But only the top button.
This is true. But Solomon knows me quite well, so don't worry. We've drunk champagne together. It's okay. So that's how it started, and then we were approached by an organization called PPA, which is the Professional Publishers Association, and asked to join. And I didn't see any need for that. But anyway, we were eventually convinced, and they then asked if we would take part in a competition. Thanks, Jackie. And so we entered. And you know, when you go into these very prestigious competitions, there's a pecking order. Do you understand pecking order, John?
A picking or pecking order?
A pecking order is where you're positioned in the room. You know,
Yeah.
if you're at the front table, you're up there, kid. But if you're at the back wall, the same as I was with the sound guy, you know, you're pretty far down the pecking order.
Yeah, especially when your face is not towards the stage.
This is very true. So we just kept drinking champagne, you know, it's always my answer. And then up went the category we were in, and someone had already told me. They said, "Have you received a letter?" And I said, "What letter?" "Oh, I'm sorry, that means you haven't won. If you haven't sent your letter telling you to be here, then that means you haven't won." I'm like, okay, so let's just keep drinking the shampoo. And it took them quite a while, because the woman sitting beside me was part of the organization, saying, "Alison, you've won." I said, "No, it's okay. I know I've not won. It's all right. You don't have to be nice. It's fine." She said, "Will you please look at the screen?" I said, no, it's fine, because I was writing down all the comments from the judges, because you can learn.
Yeah.
Oh, bloody May. Hi, Uncle Pete. Hi, darling. Okay. Anyway. Then I look up, and my goodness, there is the front cover of Fusion. So, and there had been a lot of journalists drinking heavily. Trust me, it's quite rowdy. So when I stood up, I thought, oh, there's going to be a lot of catcalling, because we're just a small publication compared to, you know, the chief judge was the editor of Hello magazine, for God's sake. And, you know, somebody else was from Condé Nast, you know, who the heck is Fusion Flowers magazine? What, please. But when I stood up and started to walk towards the stage to collect the award, Dennis couldn't stand up, because he'd been joining me in the champagne.
People seem to know you. Even Cindy is telling you can drink.
There's no question. And so I'd gone up to the stage, and suddenly people were standing, and I can't, Cindy. So people were standing, applauding. These were journalists applauding me, and I'm like, what's going on here? And when I got up and they handed me the award, the guy, who's a fairly famous actor, said, "This means something to you." And I said, "You have no idea how much this means to me." And strangely enough, the November, we were at Horty Fair. Remember Horty Fair? And there used to be this huge international press call. You know, it was amazing how many press were there. And I remember going into the room for the first night's dinner. And as I walked into the room, and I know a lot of these people, and I'm very close friends with many. The first guy, Jens Poulsen, stood up and started applauding, and followed instantly. It was like a wave of people standing up and applauding. And what's going on? You know, I'm from Scotland. You know, I'm a fighter. I'm not someone that's used to people approving. And I was embarrassed. So what's going on? And what they told me was, it was the first time that the media had ever taken floristry seriously. It was the first time we'd managed to get up there amongst the higher echelons, and it was groundbreaking. And we won it 5 times. And eventually I said, enough, because it's a lot of effort. By that time, I was on the board and lecturing the media how to sustain a business, because they start from the opposite end to what we do. So it's a different. But then we have very close friends in media who gave us wonderful advice, who sadly, it had been at the end of a weekend celebration for their wedding anniversary, and he has no memory of that conversation whatsoever, but it stood me in good stead. So that's how the Fusion Flower started. Yeah.
So again, there was some shampoo involved.
Yes.
Yeah. Actually, Cindy is telling I can help you out in America if the post isn't going there. So maybe.
Okay, thanks, Cindy. It's really a distribution problem. Is we can get it out of the UK, but then it stops once it gets to America.
Okay.
It's a complicated situation, and we're looking for the first time ever of publishing it as a digital product this time because of the difficulties
Yeah.
of getting them into various countries. Even in the UK, it's because of the virus, there are fewer drivers, there are fewer people distributing things. So
Yeah.
so the idea is, so that people don't miss out on an issue, is that we would produce it digitally and then later go into print once we know that it will get to the people.
Yeah. Okay. After, or you're still doing fusion flowers, but you also started a new project.
Yeah, they had champagne as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was yeah, over the years as being a journalist, a visitor to these shows, you get to know growers quite well. And one of them you interviewed on Monday, Steve from
Yeah, it was
Ansel.
on Monday.
Yeah, Earl Glamour Poos. Well, Steve phoned me one day out of the blue. We were both involved in a couple of other platforms that were not, neither of us were comfortable with, if I put it that way. And he said, Alison, the floral industry is in trouble. I said, yeah, I know you are. Yeah. And he said, I believe that one person can make a difference. And I said, absolutely, I believe that too. Yeah. I said, so who are you going to phone? He said, no, I'm making the phone call. And I said, no, you're not.
But this was already way, way, way before COVID. We're not talking about that we were in problem. Yeah.
That particular year or the year before, 130 growers had gone out of business in the Netherlands, which I knew.
Yeah.
Which I knew. And what people don't seem to appreciate is that not all growers are huge. They're not, you know this, John, they're not huge conglomerates.
No.
This is a family we're talking about. This is like grandpa, father, son, that whole thing. Sometimes
brothers.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a family, and a lot of them had put their belief in certain organizations, and they'd been let down badly. So when Steve phoned me, I said, well, look, Marius and Pete are flying over for something completely different. If you want to join them, I'm fine with that, but you must ask permission because they're coming for something else. So he did, and they said, yeah, sure, how many Dutchmen can you fit in a flight? Not many, because you're so tall. And they flew in, and I said, okay, tell me what's missing. What can't you get? And they said, well, we've had lists of people saying we're going to get all these designers to work with our flowers.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't happen. I said, well, I know why. And they said, why? I said, because the designers don't trust the organizers. And that's because florists around the world have been ripped off consistently for many, many years. I said, and the reason I know that is because I'm in the same boat. I've walked this road. So I said, so who do you want? I said, give me 15 names. Who do you want? I said, but what I will say is this. You will respect them. You will treat them with dignity. We will put them in a nice hotel. They'll have to share rooms. They're saying, share rooms. I said, yeah, because I'm Scottish and,
Yeah.
We'll get them to share rooms, single beds, will be okay. But it has to be a nice hotel. You feed them properly, and we eat with the growers. We eat with family, so you can break down the barriers that exist. And if there's any work going, if you're going to decorate, trade stand or something,
Yeah.
then I want these people to be given the chance, and you pay them the going rate, please. Well, yeah, of course. I said, so now I need some money to pay for the airfares and the accommodation, and both of them transferred money into our account.
Yeah.
They left here they think about 10:30, something about 11 o'clock. They touched down in Holland about, I don't know, 2:30, 3 o'clock, something like that. And their mobiles were going ting, ting, ting. And it was me saying, okay, I've emailed everybody. I've had to phone a couple, can't get one or two, but 85%, there you go. That was September 2014. That's right, Pete. And the rest, as they say, is history. Everybody said, yeah, Mama Bear, where do you want to go? Yeah. Oh, live video interrupted. I didn't do that. I can't do that. I'm still trying to stay in the blinking camera.
Okay. I'm also in the camera, so.
Okay.
Oh.
Should I click something?
I think it stopped.
Click.
Oh, I think it stopped somehow. I don't know why.
Should we have gin and tonic?
Yeah, let's do it. I think it stopped.
Oh, there! I've gone big. Don't like that. Here we go. Is that okay now, John?
No, we stopped. I will start it up again. Wait, I will stop streaming and make a new stream, and then we start again. Because I think we stopped. In this during this live show, that they kick us out.
Oh, something weird has happened here. I'm looking at somebody who's talking about confessions for the coronavirus.
Okay.
This is
what is his confession?
This is very strange. I don't want to hear a confession. Oh no. Oh, help. Get me out of here. Right. I've left that. Okay, can you see me, darling?
I can see you. I think we're live again, but only it's a new stream. Okay. We set up a new stream.
Okay.
Let's hope we get some people back in.
Okay.
Let's see if I can put it on top of the page. Where are we? Oh, I have to refresh it probably. Where did we stop our story? While I'll try to put the new live stream on top.
Okay. It was. So do you want me to start now?
Yeah, Yvonne was back, so that's already one.
And Amanda.
We see you, Amanda, saying hello again. Yeah, we do some hide and seek today. Alison is slowly sliding out of the screen again.
Oh no! It's a gift.
Yeah. But it's even online we do a lot of magic with the Flower Circus.
I'm moving things. How's that?
Yeah, that's great. Okay. And we're back. I can see that we're back, and we've got most of the viewers again. So welcome everybody. The second part, we had a little commercial break.
We did that. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, okay. Thank you, Bill. So
the people didn't get paid to share the rooms, though.
No, well, we paid the rooms. That was it. No, well, Bill, that's a bit iffy. Sorry. He shared the room. Oh, hi, Johan and Bianca. Oh, they're my darlings. Okay, sorry about this. Try and concentrate, Alison. Okay, so what happened was we held the first meeting, and I had to do a presentation to a group of Dutchies, tall, huge people, and we're at what is Ansu, but was Anko then.
Yeah.
And Steve, bless him, said, well, you need to be able to be seen, basically I'm a midget. So I said, okay. So he starts getting pallets out, the pallets that they deliver things on. And he starts building with cardboard and plastic wrap around these pallets, and they get higher and higher and higher and higher. I just thought it was a tradition in the Netherlands. I had no idea what was going on. But this was him building me a stage. Well, he never thought about getting a step to go on the stage. So what they had to do was to lift me onto the stage. So I'm now on this stage and I can't move, and I can read body language quite well. Years of being on stages, and
You have to stop to be pretending that you're camera shy. So you just stay in the middle of the camera.
I'm doing my best.
Next time I'm just sending John Koopman over to keep you in the center of the camera.
Good luck. You know, I've had them surgically removed. Another story. So we
The cameras.
did the pitch, and I said, okay, yes, indeed. And I'm looking at these people thinking, why would you listen to me? You know, who is this woman from Scotland? And so then I said to Bjorn Kroner was there from Germany.
Yeah.
You speak. So I handed him the microphone. And he told it from the florist perspective, and you could see something happening with the growers. And then behind me was Steinar Hansen from Norway, who can leap like a gazelle onto the stage, you know, and he spoke with deep feeling, beautiful. And then the next person was Lana Bates, Russian, but at that time working in the UK.
Yeah.
And she started to cry. And you could see the growers finally realizing that florists were not the enemy. You know, for many years, florists have felt, well, growers have felt, these florists, they won't pay a decent price. They won't give us, a decent price for our flowers. They always want things so cheap, and, it costs so much to develop. And the florists at the other side are, these growers, they're charging far too high rates, and, I need to make a profit. And what they forgot was there was something in the middle, and it was blocking them. And what they needed to do was to communicate with one another and to find a way through. That was initially one of the biggest challenges with Floral Fundamentals. So that night, Steve, bless him, had bought in some champagne. I don't know why he thought to do that, but there you go. And it was on chill.
By then he already knew you a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. So we had a board up. And the deal was, if we reached target, then the champagne could be opened. I actually thought that some of the designers were going to kill some growers to try and get the money written up on the board. But it was quite an interesting night, because one guy came up to me, excuse me, Wim from Crown Jewels Gloriosa, you know Wim?
Yeah, yep.
Who, his body language was dreadful. He couldn't make eye contact. His head was down like that. He's a grower, he hadn't thought to wash his hands before he comes out. Hopefully now he does. Yeah. Torn jeans, but not the trendy kind, and he's got his head like this. So he comes up to me and says, Alison, can I ask a question? I said, sure. He said, why do florists not like Gloriosa? So I said, hello? Are you kidding me? I said, we love Gloriosa. And he said, I've just had to destroy half my glasshouse of Gloriosa. I said, well, was there a disease, or was, what was wrong?
Yeah.
And he said, no. I said, okay, but okay, so how do you present your Gloriosa? Oh, I've got plastic sleeve. Okay, what does it say on the sleeve? No, it's just clear. Okay, then you have your boxes. What are your boxes like? He said, they say Wim Brouwer. I said, yeah. Great. Anything else? He said, no. I said, well, you're obviously one of the best kept secrets there is. So some of the partners, together with Pete, went in and, I'm going to say, branded him. I don't mean they took a hot iron or anything like that, but we slowly developed Crown Jewels Gloriosa, which the rest, as they say, is history.
Yeah.
And then he said, but I need some good designs. And I said, oh, hello.
And look around.
Yeah, here you go. So And it's this kind of self-help group that stretches. It's as far, we have ambassadors based in Australia to Siberia, from China to America, all over the place.
Yeah.
And it's become, we're known as the Floral Fundamentals family, because some of the support stories of one another are awe-inspiring. I couldn't believe that there's no way that we could have known at the outset that what has happened would happen. We couldn't have known that. You always hope, we're always optimistic, but it's quite mind-blowing. We've saved at least 4 or 5 businesses, and we've saved more florists than that. Some of them have had to change direction, which is, of course, essential. And that's going to hold them quite strong for the future, thank God.
Yeah. No, but it's about changing directions. That's something that has to be done now as well. And the story you told about growers connecting with the designers, that's something you need to do as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because there's one thing with it is from the outset, I said, look, my reputation is a hard-fought reputation. I will only work with the best. Anyone who knows me knows I'm like that. As far as I'm concerned, you're only as good as the last flower thing you produced.
Yeah.
So I like quality. In my own work, I would always use quality flowers. So I'm really fussy about that. But being quality doesn't mean that you have to have a huge business. It just means, you know, I've watched guys sit for hours and hours watching to make sure something's correct. Their attention to detail and patience is phenomenal. But the same applies to the florists too.
Yeah.
And they deserve recognition for that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, last IPM, Stefan van Berlo did this beautiful piece. And it's Ulvia who's wearing the piece. Also floral fundamental designer. She also makes great work, by the way. Yeah, this is perfect. I mean, and it's not only this design. I think the whole edition or the whole issue of Floral Fundamentals is packed with those stunning designs.
The idea is to try and do commercial designs, although there's been a hot discussion about the subject of commercial design, because they walk in to what looks like a floral Christmas land to them because it's so many flowers. In fact, I've had to plead with growers to send fewer flowers.
Yeah.
But they're so proud of their flowers, you know, it's like their children.
Yeah.
You know, they're proud. But they also want to ask the designers questions. You know, are we on the right track with this? Is this the right kind of thing? And quite often at these things you find, you know, for a nation who, when they greet you, kiss you 3 times. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Yeah?
Yeah.
I am a international hugger. Yeah? I am a tactile person, and grown men in the Netherlands have been known to run away from me if they see my arms stretching out towards them. Oh, she's got a hug. Yeah, I'm the same with florists, you know. And nowadays I've managed to get duchies to voluntarily hug me, and now we've got this blessed virus and I'm not allowed to hug anyone anymore. It's a disaster.
I will send you this this file later today, so you can send it to everybody out there. At least you
very
can.
Much for that, John. So it's yeah, and everything's done for free, you know. So the magazine is on our website, but also the app is free, so you can download it for free. There's levels of commercialism, as Gregor always says. You can sell anything, which is absolutely true, but but the whole ethos of it is to. I had to explain to growers, for example, that not everyone just uses one flower, so it's a multi-floral thing. You have to accept that. So it's been a really, really interesting learning curve, and now I'd say everyone is stronger for it. We have different levels. We have everyone from students. The students, when they're invited, have to have shown something, not expertise, but a hunger, a passion, through teachers, through freelancers, through event designers, through international figures, if you want to call them that, all the way through. And the point is that it should all be supporting one another. And, you know, for a young florist to come in and see some of these big names is awe-inspiring.
To see it and to learn from them. I mean, that's... How many times do you got the opportunity to do such a thing?
I would have killed for that chance. So we're giving them opportunities they could never have dreamed of before. In return, all I can do is to try and promote them, is to try and profile them. And in that, we've had huge success. Huge success.
Yeah, it's a great way of you bringing the people together. Now, with Flower Circus, actually, we're doing it the same way. You're doing it with shampoo. I'm doing it with a hi-hat.
I've had burgers at Circus,
So yeah, it's a great initiative. There's lots of great works and inspiration for a lot of people all over the world. I want to continue, and I want to ask you about the current situation in England. I mean, they closed down later than Holland, quite a bit later. Holland is hopefully next week they are getting out a bit, or in Holland you can get out. But what's at the moment happening in the UK? What about the wholesalers? Are they open? What about the florists? Are they open or not?
Under government rulings, the florists can't open as such. It's beginning to ease, but quite a few of them have elected to work behind the scenes. You know, so long as behind closed doors. But what happened was there was a desperation went through the UK. It's not just England, darling, it's the UK.
Yeah, sorry.
It's okay. I'm Scottish. You're going to get that now and again. We had, could they get the flowers? Could they get the flowers in? Should they order? Should they not order? You can imagine, you know, and if they got them in, could they sell them?
Yeah.
They didn't, they weren't. I've never seen so much worry and pain from florists across the board. And it was painful to watch. So some of them came up with clever ways, but in the end, it worked out very well. They managed to sell, but there was a cost to pay because at the end of that, they were drained. They were drained. Can I say emotionally?
Yeah.
You know,
you already did.
They pushed themselves to the limit.
Yeah.
And then they closed down. From there, and that's when the government made the directive. From there, what happened next was that some realized they could function behind the scenes, particularly for funeral directors, which is a subject that I suppose not many are wanting to discuss. Funerals in the UK, very few people can go. And I think initially florists thought that they wouldn't allow flowers, etc. But that was wrong. The flowers have meant a terrific amount. And I know of cases where florists who've removed themselves from their shop, but maybe are working in an old outhouse they've got or whatever to keep going to supply the funeral directors.
Yeah.
And I heard a story today that was amazing. Absolutely amazing. Was that one funeral director has been collecting extra money and wanted to give it to the florist as a thank you.
Wow.
Because nobody was charging full prices from what I can see. And another one was collecting extra money as well, coming out of his money, I should say, and then was donating it to the National Health Service or local charities. So, but what the other thing that happened was some of these people have met aggression,
Yeah.
and some of the aggression is appalling, especially online. The social media comments to some people who've been doing the very, very best to help in a dreadful situation are unfeeling and uncalled for. And if I've held myself back from responding to these,
Yeah.
but I know the cost it's taking emotionally on these florists all over the UK. What I've always said is it's a personal decision as to whether they continue or not, so long as they're not asking their employees to travel to the shop
Yeah.
using public transport. That's not acceptable in my book.
Yeah. So they were threatened because they were not opening their shop, but they were doing business behind closed doors.
Yes, they were doing business online, and so they were getting posts like, "You're profiteering on people's misery. You're making money." They're not making money. They're not making money. Most of the wholesalers are closed, so it's pre-order stuff that's coming in.
Yeah.
So they have to take the gamble of pre-ordering on the basis of orders that have come in. One guy told me, he said, in one day, his online sales have gone through the roof. He had £3,000 worth of orders in one day.
Wow.
But he couldn't bring his staff in to service it. And so he and his wife have had to service this. It's a very, very traumatic time. In the Netherlands, it's different because the florist shops were always allowed to be open.
Yeah.
The same with the garden centres. And I have to say the UK, I believe, have made a huge mistake in this, because there are growers all over the UK who've got no outlets for their plants and flowers. It's dreadful. It's not great in the Netherlands either, but it's not as severe as it is here. And all they had to do was to instigate the same procedure as supermarkets do to allow people into garden centres, or to do something similar with florists. The result is people see them as profiteering, and they're not. It's not fair.
I know that there's a young plant supplier from Holland who even the man is living in the UK. He's living in England, but for you I will say the UK.
Cheers.
And he wrote a letter to the parliament saying, okay, we need to open up the garden centers, because people need to get into their gardens. They need to do something to keep them busy as well.
It's good for mental health.
Yeah.
I've just done a report for Chinese television on that very subject. It is good for mental health. And actually Pete said to me right at the beginning, "Alison, can you please do some videos and post them out for florists around the world to give them a form of hope?" And when I thought about it, it was to take them for a walk around our garden, because so many people are they're inside their homes, but they're in flats. They don't have an option to go to an open space. We're lucky. We have a beautiful garden, and we can go out there. But not everyone has that. It's to try and give a lifeline. But interesting, in Switzerland, because they immediately closed down all the schools, all the flower shops. There's different reports in different countries. One florist took the government to court to say that flowers and plants were essential.
Yeah.
And they won. They won the case in Switzerland. So the florists were able to open. And then slowly you see other countries doing the same thing.
Yeah. Czech Republic, they were open as well, all the florists.
Exactly. So, it's fascinating to watch how it's gone in certain ways.
Yeah.
And how it's developed. But I view the florists as my people, and the growers as my people as well. So I'm very protective.
Yeah. But how do you see this all developing? Of course, we're all looking to something we don't know yet where this ends. I think it's we have to go through a tough period. For sure. With the end of the virus, it's not the end of the. I think it's only the beginning of getting us up again. And let's hope we get up soon.
Yeah.
How do you see the whole chain develop? I mean, the whole role of Holland in the part, or is it going to be more worldwide? It's already a worldwide business. I mean, the only thing is what we can quickly say is different. A lot of growers in South America, Africa are directly dealing with wholesalers. In Holland, we've got an auction, we've got the exporters. Will you see some changes over there, you think, or will it stay the same?
Change has been on the cards for a long time, and for sure it's going to continue. No one can predict exactly what's going to happen next. I won't lie to you. In the case of the Netherlands, it became almost a partisan thing, that when the public realized that the growers were in jeopardy, they responded to it. And a lot of Dutch florists couldn't cope with the volume of demand that they've received. It's overwhelming. The word on the street just now internationally for Mother's Day is it should be huge. The UK, of course, Mother's Day has passed. But for the rest of the world who are going to go into Mother's Day, the signs are very, very strong. Even Australia has just been on today to say that they're having to pull in extra people behind the scenes because the volume is so high. It has to be said that for this to have worked, everyone who's doing well out of this is someone who's had a very strong social media presence or a strong website. If they haven't been strong there before, then they're missing out on what's coming through, and that will grow. There's no question about that.
Actually, one of the designers of Flower Circus is working in Belgium now at the moment. It was a flower shop who had a web shop, but wasn't online. And then they thought when the virus struck, okay, let's put the website back online again. They came on national television. So they were working quite a lot, or actually a lot, and they had to close down the web shop sometimes because they couldn't cope with all the work.
That seems to be happening a terrific amount. What I will say is, you cannot underestimate the fact that people have been trapped indoors. It's actually, if you really analyze what's been going on, this whole situation is like going through a process of grief. There are processes in grief. There's shock. Okay, we've had the shock thing. We've had the withdrawal things. Then you go into the anger thing, which is unfortunately what a lot of florists have experienced. And then you go into the trying to rebuild a tentative situation, and that's almost where we are just now. And the one strength in that is that bringing nature into your home, into your environment, either a working environment or home environment. What I was hearing this week is that a lot of companies, big multinational companies, are encouraging their staff to work at home permanently. Now, that is a huge thing. And I don't want to quote one of the companies involved, but they're on Canary Wharf. This is a huge company. If they close Canary Wharf on the basis that people will be working from home, then I see a strong potential marketplace for floristry and for plants. For sure.
This is my shout out, I think, every day that we're spending a lot of money on gyms. I always say going to the gyms, but mostly we just spend money on the gym and we don't go. We're spending millions of pounds or euros on healthy food. We should spend some money on flowers and plants as well in your house, because it's good for your mental health. It's good for the air in your house. All things like that. We should get that in people's minds.
Well, this is one of the reasons, with no harm intended, I was inundated with requests for copies of the video. You remember when the auction destroyed the flowers out on the hard court there?
Yeah.
And worse than that, some of the videos of growers raising their flowers, just cutting them and composting them or whatever. And initially I was trying to field answers that were coming in from angry people saying, oh, they should be taking it here, they should be delivering it there.
Yeah.
They seem to understand the concept of being in lockdown where that's not possible. But what was unforgivable as far as I was concerned was there was no explanation. There was a reason why that had to be done by the auction.
Yeah.
They had no other choice because that's a contractual obligation. So if people could have understood that, it might have made it easier. But I know growers were delivering flowers and florists were delivering flowers to keynote places. So when I looked at that, and then I was getting requests from some fairly high-level lifestyle magazines wanting copies of these videos, I didn't lie to them. I just said, oh, I'll look into it for you, knowing that there's no way I wanted that kind of thing to go out for the global flower industry. That was just a disaster. So I phoned Pete and said to him, I've got an idea, ran it past him. He said, yeah, sounds good to me. Then phoned John from Photography, John Cookman, and said, I've got an idea. And he said, can you script it? I said, yeah, and we'll use our own people doing their own little videos.
Yeah.
And we'll put it together. And it's about new growth because Pete made a comment about the lilac plants in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
Jan, who grows them, he said, you know, some of those plants are so old now. They've seen 2 world wars. They've seen financial collapses. They've seen, you know, all sorts of things happening. But through all, the plants remain. And every year, good as gold, they send up new shoots and new growth. And that was linchpin for me. That gave me the idea of how to take this forward. So we're doing a series of videos, slow release, about a positive message forward about new growth. It's the strength, giving new growth to people and giving flowers to people, plants to people, just to be able to touch things that are alive again.
Yeah.
It's a huge positive force. That's the way we're trying to push it at the moment.
Yeah. It's while my neighbor is starting to work again.
Nice. That's lovely.
But it's the message I think we need to send out. The new life, we will survive this. Like the South American growers said, we are always there for you as flowers in good moments, in bad moments, in moments of sorrow. We are always there for you. That's a message we need to send out with all of us actually, because that's the message. It is the video you were talking about. We will show at the end of the live stream.
Okay, good. That's nice. I think, you know, let's not be stupid here. We are going to lose people. We are going to lose businesses. You know, some of them have gone already. But those businesses, you know, were probably not in such a good state in the first place. They really probably weren't in such a good state.
No.
I don't want to lose anyone, but I think we have to be realistic. I mean, how are we going to fly in a plane? As you said earlier, we were talking earlier about what needs to be put in place before you can even travel, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not going to happen next week that we're going to fly again. I mean, if one country does open up, it doesn't mean that the other is open already. So how can we fly to each other?
Yeah, so exactly. But I don't want to give a completely negative thing because what I will say is that there's quite a lot of people in business who've stayed, you know, what I call tunnel vision. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah.
It means they focus only in a straight direction. And business is not like that anymore. You have to be more entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
You have to embrace a whole different concept. there's a group of world famous event designers in New York, and every week they have an online discussion. And I've been privileged to be hearing some of these discussions. And they, initially it started up, the end of the world was nigh, will there never be any more events?
Yeah.
Then I was saying to them, oh, well, people will still get married. And they're saying, yeah, I know people will still get married, but, we can't do big dinner tables. Because at that stage, I think it was Harvard had just released that instead of 1.5 meters or 2 meters separate, it needs to be 3 meters separate.
Yeah.
So I said, oh, that'll be an interesting dinner table, 3 meters separate. At least if you don't like the in-laws, you don't have to talk to them. So,
Yeah. I sent my in-laws that it was 5 meters.
Your response to that is tempting, but I won't say anything.
Yeah.
The termites are back. You're right, Willie. The termites are blooming back.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's about. So I said to him, or said to them, should I say, look, I know some of you guys. I know you personally. You all have different backgrounds. It's time for you to pull in your other expertise.
Yeah.
It's time for you to look at things in a different way. The business will still be there. It's how you approach it that has to be different.
It's how you approach it and how you shout it out. I mean, Cindy, which we had last week, was telling, okay, give your message feet. Get your message out to the people. Because maybe you have the best flowers, maybe you make the best designs, but if nobody hears it or nobody sees it, who's gonna know?
It was like you were talking with the lovely Solomon yesterday, and we were talking about stories. It's one of the things that I just keep crunching on and on and on about is, people were saying, because I watch most of your streams, is that people want in and out very fast.
Yeah.
Actually, I disagree with that. If someone has gone to a high street shop, they've made a commitment to go to that shop. And 9 times out of 10, the stronger Dutch shops that I've been in, they have a lifestyle atmosphere to what's going on.
Yeah.
They're always strong on impulse purchases, always strong. But there's very much a lifestyle attitude. A great friend of mine, Nikolai Berkman, over in Tokyo, who should never have succeeded. Never in a million days. He's a Danish florist, came from a successful company and family, and decided he wanted to work in Japan. Didn't speak Japanese. Oh, why would you need to do that? So he goes out, learns about Japan, now runs 13 shops, darling.
Wow.
And has the most amazing approach to what he does. Clever entrepreneurial thinking.
Yeah.
He's someone you should talk to, because he, getting him will be challenging, but you have to take a different approach.
Yeah.
We did a test case. It was a woman who came to Fundamentals. No names. We don't give names away.
Mrs. X,
and
I think.
I did not know if this woman had a good time. I couldn't tell. And afterwards, the person who'd recommended her said, oh, how did she get on? I said, I have no idea. He said, okay, I'll go and ask her. So off he went to ask her and said, oh, you were at Floral Fundamentals? And she said, yeah. And was it good? Yes, it was good. You can see the problems I had had. And so he said, what did you learn? Anything? And she said, do you know it takes 15 years to develop a gloriosa from the first rhizome through to a commercially viable flower? She said, I've been telling everybody in the shop about the gloriosa, and well, we have to keep restocking because we've been selling so many. Hello?
Yeah.
They made it personal because she knew the guy, she met the person. Tell this. I don't mean you have to go into the life cycle of a bee, for goodness sake, but you do need to talk about and know your product inside out, and it helps to understand these stories.
Yeah. If they want to have a quick bouquet, they can also go to a supermarket. if they want to have a story, I mean, you're as a florist, you are the specialist. So show that you're the specialist as well.
Or we have the opposite coming in, where people have gone to supermarkets and then trot down to the florist because they're going to somewhere, but they don't want to have the sleeve from the supermarket. So
Yep.
can you repackage these flowers? I know what I would tell them to do with their flowers, but anyway.
Yeah, the sun isn't there. Let's put it that way.
Exactly.
No, that's totally true. I mean, we need to tell those stories. That's something what we do during our flower circus shows as well. Telling the stories, not about how many hectares a grower has. That's not an interesting story, but how long it will take to grow it, or especially with some varieties, it takes up for generations to get a new tulip. Um, uh, Even with chrysanthemums, it takes 3-4 years to develop a new variety. I mean,
It's funny you saying about chrysanthemums. We were over at Beyond Chrysant, my darling boy there.
yeah,
And I was waiting for surgery. I have a bad knee. And the guys were wheeling me around in an office chair. Thanks, guys. And we get over to this machine, and it showed how they do the cuttings and how they go into the compost. And it was amazing. I was just, this is amazing. And with me was a guy called Matthew Landers from Australia. And Matthew is very big on Insta. And he did a little video, just a short clip of what was going on and our reaction to this machine. And we were sitting having a drink that night. He said, "Do you remember me taking that little video?" I said, "So long as it wasn't me on that wheelchair, that chair getting wheeled around." He said, No, I promise." I said, "Okay, no, I don't remember, but I'll trust you." He said, "It had over 100,000 hits, John, because people want to know." I posted photographs of the hyacinth growers planting hyacinths in the fields, lying on planks and having these planted. And a college in America contacted me to say, "We had no idea." I said, you need to go and talk to your growers, I knew where they were. They were near, excuse me, the ranunculus growers in California. I said, "Get down there, go talk to these people." I said, "I can even tell you, go and speak to Rennie Van Riem over there and ask Rennie about what's going on." I said, "He'll tell you. His family, his parents were nursery people. They'll tell you." And this guy said to me, "How do you know this?" I said, "Yeah, I don't know. People talk to me."
Yeah, and you listen. That's also important. It's not not always all about talking. It's also that you have to listen to it.
Well, you did say you wanted me to talk today. This, of course, is why I was banned from my office. They won't let me in the office. Apparently, I'm too noisy.
I really love talking to you. So that's great, and the enthusiasm you have. So that's great. I think.
I think I started in this. Well, what you probably don't know is I'm allergic to pollen. And there's certain pollen varieties that I can't go near. I'll be very ill.
Okay.
And once a year, I used to go with iBulb, the guys, Anne and Tinica and Jess from iBulb. They used to take me on the Lily Week. And I said, "Why you want me back?" She said, "Oh, Alison." It's okay. So, and you would go into some of their trial areas, and I couldn't breathe. I had to come out because the pollen content was so high. I came to flowers through depression. I was very young at the time. I'd lost all of my family except my mother in the space of 6 months.
Wow.
And my mother took me. There was various other things happened as well. I lost several friends, and including my goddaughter. So I was in a very bad place. Anyway, my mother took me along to a flower club once, and I saw this person on stage working with flowers. Now, I have an art background as well. And I suddenly realized that this was actually potentially an art form, and I took it very seriously. So I taught myself how to do these things, ended up working in flower shops and helping out on deals, and eventually became involved with the Netherlands, because the orders I would send into the Netherlands via my florist were so weird.
Yeah.
That one of the guys said, look, he was coming over for a teleflorist event at that time, and he said, I'll come. He said, I'd like to meet this Alison. Who is this Alison you keep going on about? So that's how it started, is that I got involved with this guy, and then there was a guy from Italy who, same storyline, and that's how the whole thing started to build up behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And what I found was I had more connection with these guys because they had the same passion, you know.
Yeah.
So I've always viewed being in the flower world as being a privilege, and that's me saying thanks for saving me, because that's flowers helped to save me. So that's basically who I am. A lot of people don't understand that, and they misjudge that. Well, I can't sort that. That's their problem. It's not mine.
Yeah.
But when I agreed to do fundamentals, fusion is a passion, you know, and it's something I'm extremely proud of, what we've managed to achieve. Fundamentals, I suppose, is the same thing, but it was to try and help people and to try and encourage them to believe that they can continue to grow. And it doesn't matter how bad the world seems outside. I came from that background, and now I find myself sitting with, you know, governments and negotiations, and always in the process of trying to help. Some of the success stories are mind-blowing, and if I sit down and think about it, I think, what on earth am I doing here? You know?
Yeah.
What am I doing? But honestly, the one connection we all have is flowers, and
Yeah.
something extremely special. Something extremely special. And when I said to Steve, okay, I'll do this, but this is my finale piece. This is my, you know, this is my legacy to the industry.
Yeah.
And recently one of our growers phoned me up and he said, yeah, you need to keep going with that legacy, Alison. I said, I don't know if I do or not, but yeah.
No, but you need to. I mean, with so much positive energy and helping out everybody, you can't stop.
I can't, you know, I still get it too much in the neck, John, you know, because people don't understand. And really, I'm old enough to say, okay, that's your problem. It's not mine anymore.
If you're in doubt that you want to stop, give me a call. I will send you a packet of champagne. I will come and we will drink champagne out of the hat, and then you can continue for another 10 years.
You know, Max Vanderslaus.
Yeah.
Maxie and I were sitting having a chat at Burma. He was in doing this fundamentals, bless him. And one of the things I told him was he had to share a room, and he said, oh, Alison, I'm too old for this. I said, John, you know, John, I know this man. I said, listen, you'll be the one that's last to go to bed. And he was. Yeah. And I said to him, oh, you know, this is my legacy, Maxie. And he said, no, you can't stop. I said, what do you mean I can't stop? And he said, you know, because you'll die if you stop. That's why I love dealing with the Dutch here, but as subtle as an engine hitting you straight in the face.
Yeah. No, it's great. Actually, we also been talking about changing the way you do business.
Yeah.
That's actually what we are going to do as well.
Good.
Next Friday, we've got our first live show with Flower Circus on 3 o'clock with Mark Frank. So I'm quite excited that we're going to do this and yeah, see what happens. I mean, yeah, the world is changing. We change as well. We don't. The most of the circus, they're not allowed to have any animals anymore. So that's why we started with flowers. And now we go from the circus tent to the yeah, to the online business.
You have an interesting stance in that picture, darling.
Yeah. I know it, but it was the only picture that Mark was looking good and I was looking strange. So I thought, okay, let's use this one then. But yeah, I know it's going to be fun.
Of course, it'll be fun.
Yeah.
It's, Pete and I have these discussions every so often. It's like, what do we do next? And I said, the danger in the flower industry is it's been like what I call the hamster wheel. Once you get on the hamster wheel and it's repetition, you cannot afford to function like that anymore.
No.
I need new challenges. You need new challenges. Everyone needs new challenges. You need to earn. My grandmother used to say, you need to earn enough money for bread and water. If you're lucky, you can put some butter on the bread. If you're really lucky, you can put some jam on top of the butter. And every so often, now and again, you can put some cream on top of the jam. You cannot live in cream. You must earn enough for bread and water, bread and butter. You have to have enough there, a good solid basis to continue. And that's where people have to focus. They have to get their ABC right first and find a way through it.
Yeah.
And it's if you're drained and if you've been afraid, fear is a terrible thing. If you're afraid, it doesn't mean that business is over. It just means business is going to change.
Yeah. You're going to change as well. I mean, if you're looking at television at the moment and you see people hugging or shaking hands, then you think, what are they doing? That's not allowed.
I know.
So yourself, you're changing as well. So don't be afraid for it. It just happens. Adapt to it and get your act together. And that's the only thing you can do.
Things are changing for you, John, because someone's drilling a hole through your wall.
I'm gonna kill somebody soon, I think.
I think that might be a good idea.
No. Maybe he's just saying that that it's time for us to stop. I think we're already talking for an hour and a half. So.
Oh my God, have we? Well, I hope we've done some good. If anybody wanted to ask questions, I'm here for you.
Yeah.
But maybe too late.
Can you help me to that the neighbor will stop?
Yeah, well, there's that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. No, it was a great pleasure talking to you, Alison. And
you, John.
hopefully we can see each other live soon. So this is the best I can do for now. Sending you a virtual hug again.
More hugging, send the hugs.
And as promised, we will show the video made by or you written the script and made by John.
He did a great job. John did a great job.
Yeah, he can do some things. Yeah.
He's worn your hat.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you everybody for watching, and as promised, we will show you the video. Hope to see you tomorrow again. Thank you, Alison. Thank you everybody for watching, and see you tomorrow.
The cycle of new growth continues. Greenhouses and fields continue to produce beautiful flowers every day. Some of these plants have stood witness to wars, financial collapse, the Great Depression, and disease, but through it all, there is always new growth. Our growers dedicate themselves to produce the best flowers and plants possible. Our florists dedicate themselves to the creation of beautiful designs for their clients. Each person holds new growth in their hands and celebrates the wonder of Mother Nature. And now, the world needs to bring new growth into their lives to show that there is hope. Know that if you hold a flower close to your heart, you will see only beauty and hope. Give flowers and bring hope to the world. We are united through flowers.